Good day, everyone. Our topic today is instruments for data collection, video number 1. I am Keshi Patricia Mere Somono, Professor of Educational Evaluation, Research and Statistics, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Today, we are going to address instruments for data collection. Our learning outcome. At the end of the lecture, the student should be able to conceptualize the instruments for data collection. Mention purposes of research instruments. Give examples of instruments for data collection. Define questionnaire and describe types of questionnaire. Explain guidelines for constructing questionnaire. State the advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire. So we start by looking at what are instruments for data collection. Instruments for data collection are tools for gathering data. They are devices for data collection. In some situations, we can call them techniques for capturing data. Purposes of research instruments. It ensures systematic, structured data collection. It will enable researchers to gather relevant information addressing research questions or hypotheses, to maintain consistency and accuracy throughout the research process. We need to collect data effectively. What's the importance of effective data collection in research? Directly impacts the validity and reliability of research findings. It allows for high quality data management and conclusion. It contributes to the field of knowledge. It helps you to build knowledge, body of knowledge for the field of study. Examples of instruments for data collection. There are many of them. You can mention them: questionnaire, interview, observational schedule or guide, focus group discussion guide, tests, documents, records, checklists, rating scale, and others. What is a questionnaire? Questionnaire are statements or questions presented to the respondents, which they will reply by writing in their responses. So when you have questions or statements which you present to the subjects for the research, and these subjects are to write in their responses, we call that instrument a questionnaire. There are two major types. We have structured questionnaire and unstructured. When do we say that questionnaire is structured? Structured questionnaire contains questions or statements with fixed alternatives, or they have closed-ended questions or statements. We have types of closed-ended questions or statements. They include dichotomous questions or statements, multiple choice questions or statements, cafeteria questions or statements, and rank order questions or statements. These are types of structured items in a questionnaire. Dichotomous questions or statements, these are when we have a statement and we have two alternatives are provided for the respondents to choose from. Example: as a principal, I make annual budgets for the school expenditure. The principal will answer either yes or no, depending on how she feels she has been doing her work or she did her work. Then we have multiple choice questions or statements. This will have 3 or 5 alternatives or options, and the respondent will choose from. Example: how important is teacher movement register in schools? We have alternatives: extremely important, very important, sometimes important, not important, is a multiple choice question. We have criteria questions or statements. This is a special type of multiple choice question. It requires the respondent to select from a list of possible answers or options to a question, the best that represent their opinion. This is normally good for opinion or attitude questionnaire. We take example. Which of the following statements best represent your opinion about the teaching of advanced educational research in UNIZEC? Then you have the options. There is confusion everywhere. It is well organized. Too many hands spoils the broth. A lot of knowledge are gained. Lack of sequence inhibits my understanding. I can comfortably carry out my thesis. So these things are provided and the respondents will choose as they feel their opinion about the teaching of research methods in Nandaskiwe University. Then we have rank order questions or statements. There are questions that require the respondents to rank their responses along a continuum. The item should have between 7 to 10 alternatives. We'll take an example. People like watching different sports or games. Indicate your love for the listed sports or games by placing 1 in the box for your best and 2 to your second best and so on. We have Scrabble, chess, puzzle, table tennis, football, badminton, field hockey, volleyball. So the one that the respondent loves most, we put 1. The second best, 2. The next 3, 4, and so on. So we can talk of unstructured questionnaire. When is a questionnaire unstructured? It is when it contains open-ended questions or statements. Statements or questions are made, and enough space is allowed for the respondent to express their opinions. Example of an open-ended question. What is your ideal job? Then the respondent has the freedom to respond. Well, in recent time, unstructured questions or statements are used in qualitative research. Guideline for constructing questionnaire. Well, anytime we talk about guideline, I want to ask people or researchers to be mindful of a number of things. What are these? Introduction and instruction, question content, question wording, question sequence, and others. So let's take some of them. Introduction and instruction. Introduction are usually covering letter, which should state what the study is for, confidentiality of the information given, how to return the copy or appreciating the respondents, and so on. Then instruction indicates what a session is and how to respond to the items. Sometimes we can have general instruction, and then we can also have instruction at different sections of the questionnaire. You can have general instruction and tell people how to respond. Then along the line, there is a section that needed a different response. You also have instruction for that section. Then question content. Usually guided by the aims and purposes of the research. The content of your question must be guided by the aims and purposes of the research. Questions are mostly on attitude, opinion, and behavior. The question could border on facts about the respondents or persons known to the respondents, facts about events and conditions known to the respondent. In asking this question, do not ask many questions than necessary. While the ideal is to strike balance between economy and the exhaustion of relevant information. So what we are saying here is question content. When you want to, what will your questionnaire contain? You must focus on the aim and objective. It is the aim and objective that will tell you what to ask in your question. Question wording. Questions should clearly indicate the task. Information sought and language should be at the level of the respondents. Well, avoid the leading questions that suggest a particular response. Questions should not indicate a position with leading group or respected personality. Sensitive issues should be handled carefully, or we can say present them in an impersonal form. Question sequence. How do you place your questions? Generally, general questions should come before specific ones. All items dealing on one issue should be arranged in close proximity. For instance, if we have sections, and that's in fact, actually, that's why we have sections, so that each section will be addressing a particular issue. Where this is without prejudice to inventory, because in inventory, after constructing the questions, you will mix them up. This is done to reduce faking by the respondents. Procedure for administering questionnaire. There are many procedures. They include group administration, use of Google Form, online survey, personal administration, email to respondents. Well, advantages of questionnaire. Well, a questionnaire covers that is wide or wider coverage of population. The respondents can check for their information before filling. More thoughts are given to the responses. Then disadvantages of questionnaire is low percentage return, not good for illiterates or children. There is possibility of misinterpretation. You see, one of the disadvantages of questionnaire is that it is not good for illiterates. Why? Or for children. Why? Because the response from the respondents must come in writing. So if you're using it for illiterate, it means there should be an assistant who will sit down, read and explain to the respondent, and the respondent answers, he will now write back. Sometimes you see somebody is conducting a research in a lower primary school or even nursery school, and we tell you that the instrument for data collection is questionnaire because people love questionnaire. See, it is not good for children because they may not be able to write. So this topic is instruments for data collection, and this is the first part of it because there are so many other instruments we will talk about, but we have taken specifically questionnaire in this one. Thank you very much for watching.